Hi guys, welcome back to Lost in My Library. My name is Kate. Today I am doing a book review on the 5th season by N.K. Jemison. So I just finished this. I finished it just a day ago. I'm going to straight up and say this, I'm going to give it 4 stars. That's what I give it on Goodreads. I gave it on Storygraph. I really enjoyed this. I will be continuing with this series. It's just a lot. Content warnings for reluctant sex. I don't know, both of them don't want to do it, but they're being forced to by an external thing. So it's non-consensual sex, but not either one of them are forcing the other to do it. It's an external third party forcing them to have sex. When one of them is gay / bisexual. He's definitely gay. He might be bisexual. I think he's more leaning gay. We have in this story, obviously, most of the cast actually is described as darker skin. They're not strictly said to be black, but they are, you can kind of infer they're darker skinned people. Because the lighter skinned people, what you would consider white people, they talk about them as like Arctic or Antarctic people. So you can kind of infer that these are darker skinned people. Also based off of the author, who is a person of color as well. N.K. Jemison is a prolific POC author. So you can kind of infer that these are probably darker skinned people. Which has nothing, I like the fact that it's the whiter skinned people are seen as strangers, because just of the region, but no one's treated any differently because of their skin color. The one person who is kind of treated differently is mainly because he's very different. You find out he's not human later on. So you just kind of, he's treated differently because he's different to everybody. He doesn't have a common name, which is what everybody has. He doesn't sleep often. He doesn't eat very often. So he's just a weird person in general, but not in a mean-spirited way is he treated differently. So this book is separated into 3 different timelines, and I like that. I really did enjoy that. And then in the end, you find out it's the same person, even though it feels like it's a different person throughout. Like, you have Cyanide. Oh my goodness, Cyanide. We follow her more in a present, in this 2 different times in her past. So we have a young Cyanide who, her name is Demaya, who is training and learning her training, and she discovers some things that she probably shouldn't have discovered when she was younger. And then we get young adult Cyanide, who is traveling with a man named Alabaster. This is where the reluctant kind of sex thing happening, non-consensual, but it's a third party thing. That's all contained in that, but that is most of the story. That is what we're following for most of the story. And then, surprise in the end, whereas the third part is watching her in her adult who began the story. But in the way N.K. Jemison wrote it, it was that you are her. You are. She uses second person language for this adult Cyanite, who goes by Essen in this third time period. We're following Cyanite. So it's Essen. But N.K. Jemison writes it as like it's a second party, like second person point of view. So you are, she says, you are doing this. This is what has happened to you. You are observing this, which is interesting. And I think she did interesting things. It's confusing at first. You're like, okay, why are we using this second person point of view? I think it could have been interesting if she had done it through the whole book. But I guess she was trying to build this suspense of like, okay, why are we getting this third story that's not linked to these other two stories? And it's, of course, we find out it's Cyanite. We're following Cyanite through her whole 3 different pieces of her life. And I don't see her doing that again, maybe going into the past, like her young training. But I don't see her doing the 3 different timelines again with the sequel, because how it ends. I don't see how she would do it the 3 different timelines again. I'm looking forward to the sequel, because it just feels like it's going to be just destruction of this. It's a rebellion kind of feeling story, and I do enjoy those kind of stories. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. This was a 4-star read for me. It was slightly confusing, at times very, very uncomfortable to read. Especially I read or listened to the audiobook for a large portion of the the story. There's great diversity in people of color, and we, towards the end in the young adult Cyanite timeline, she gets in a relationship, her and Alabaster get in a relationship with this guy, and so it's a polygamous relationship between the 3 of them, and I thoroughly enjoyed that, as well as being a normality, and just a normal thing that was happening, and all 3 of them love each other in a weird kind of way, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this one. Look forward to the sequel. Also enjoyed the use of Garnet, one of the obelisks in the story. I understand I didn't really talk about what they were doing was, but the plot is also very confusing and kind of hard to explain. Basically, there's this place called the Fulcrum, and the Fulcrum, they hold these people called orogenies, and these people who can move Earth, and they are to be feared by people, and there's these seasons that can destroy and kill millions of people, and they're kind of caused by the Earth. The Earth hates people, actively hates people, and orogenies can kind of channel the Earth, like can use the power of the Earth. Yeah, that's kind of what the whole thing is. It's very difficult to explain, but what it comes down to is following one single character through the whole book. And as I was mentioning, the Garnet obelisk. Garnet is my birthstone, so I was like, oh, it was Like, nobody talks about Garnet and uses Garnet. So I was very excited that she used Garnet and not, like, Ruby. Sorry. Anyways, I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching this quick review on the 5th season by N.K. Jemison. I would love to talk to people about this book. So if you've read this book, leave a comment in the comment section below. And I hope to